service or a product like ours. And
Hmm.
that's kind of what I wanted to see if we could focus on this call.
Sure, absolutely.
So, kind of a little bit about us. So, we have a fully automated cloud ERP solution called Business Day. HR Day is just one component for the HR aspect, and we'll walk you through kind of a little bit of everything. But so there's 12 modules. The beauty of our solution is we sell it a la carte. As you know, most software you have to buy it all, even in case you don't need everything. So with our solutions, people can pick and choose the modules that kind of best fit their need. And so we kind of play well in that SMB market. We do have some large clients, but the lion's share are probably would fit into that mid-sized market.
Got it.
And they typically like the fact that they can pick and choose the modules. They can scale up, they can scale down. One plus is it's a single database. So as you know, most customers or most companies have like a siloed environment where they might use software for accounting and software for sales and so on. So that's the one plus that we can bring is everything is in one place. But to kind of give us a little bit of understanding of your clientele, because everyone's different, can you kind of share a little bit with us as terms of what's the lion's share of your clients? Are they on the manufacturing side or the services side?
I would say the majority of kind of my clients and then my target market would align with this typically is going to be in the government contractor space. So they're going to be service companies that are providing people to fill roles inside of the government, whether they're software developers or engineers, project managers, program managers, anything that really, pretty much almost anything that the government purchases, they also acquire people to do those things. So it tends to be my client base tends to be more of a kind of a white collar client base. They tend to be more on the program management, project management, software development, systems, networking type thing area. That's really and it's primarily the clients are going to be in the DC metropolitan area. Although they'll have employees that are scattered wherever those contracts have people. So whether it's, in the DC metro, or they have people throughout the country, or they have people outside the country, that's not an uncommon thing as well.
Okay. So is your focus primarily IT?
I would say it kind of falls into that area as far as, I'm looking at, I would say so, yes, in the broadest sense. But I have some government contractors that provide, skilled nursing type services and childcare services as well. So.
Okay. Well, we're not far from you. We're just in Reston, by the way. So we know the area, the landscape quite well. It's pretty much government dominated.
Oh yeah.
So our solution, let me kind of back up. So we can support. If you have, projects because we do this all the time, we have engineers that we place on projects, around the world, whether that's onshore or offshore. Do you have a need for people like that or no?
You mean like placement of people? No.
Okay. So, right. So I guess the way that I'm envisioning this conversation could maybe, have some synergy is if you have clients that, are things that are, of course, out of your area of expertise or responsibility. For example, if you come across a client that's interested in a solution for accounting or finance, or sales or HR, that's where we can help. Our solution, as we'll go through the modules, but you'll see, like if they have an interest in, like we've talked to folks that were like at the SHRM events that are specifically interested in certain things for HR, like performance management or ATS, or time and attendance. Could be anything like that. But if you have folks that, so our solution touches every department in a company.
So you would say that in some areas of your business, Deltek's a competitor, in some areas United's a competitor. Is that a fair statement from what you've described, as well as on the benefits side as well? an HR side?
Yeah. Well, you could say that, especially in the government space. In the government space, we typically deal primarily private sector. I'll have to ask. I know we've talked to some government contractors, but we do not sell directly to the government at all.
Right,
but,
right.
So yeah, we don't. That's just too big of a headache. Too many hoops you have to jump through.
I did that for a while. Trust me, I understand
Yeah.
the headache. I was in that space for about almost 6 years.
Yeah, I used to sell to the federal government. I sold to HHS, Health and Human Services, and HUD, and all those guys. So I know it's a lot of. I mean, it can be lucrative, but it's too many hoops you have to jump through, and we don't have time for that. So we typically go after all private sector. But so government contractors could be a target. But the way that I'm envisioning it might be a target is if there's a need with, and if you're dealing primarily with IT, that could potentially be a good thing, because as you know, IT drives most technology decisions in companies.
So let me take a step back. You asked the question, I answered it the way I thought I heard it, but it was a little different. So I don't deal with IT people, right? I sell into organizations that largely are IT companies, right? So they're providing software solutions to the government in many cases. My target market inside of that type of an organization is going to be human resources and finance. That's who I'm going to have conversations with, depending upon their size. So smaller organizations tend to have an executive and may not have a definitive carved out finance person. They're going to have like a CEO and maybe kind of a bookkeeper. And as they grow, they're going to bring on, more dedicated accounting support, bring in a finance person. And so the conversation largely on with insurance, it's going to be finance and human resources kind of working together in order to provide that. So I deal with senior HR and finance and accounting.
Okay, so those are the folks that you primarily talk to. Okay, perfect. That's fine. And there's quite a bit of opportunity in just those two markets, finance, accounting, as well as HR. So what we'll do in this call is we'll kind of do a drill down into HR as well as finance and accounting. And of course, feel free to chime in with questions or comments. But so the way that I'm envisioning this, Brian, is what we could help you with is we could give you another product solution that you could have in your portfolio for your client.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Right. So as you know, if they're interested in something that you can't support, you don't see any of that revenue. So the way that we would work it is, we could do a referral, or we have a standard reseller agreement that we work where there's a 60-40 split. And so our solution is primarily cloud-based, of course, but there's an on-premise option as well. So it's both, but a lot of our clients use the cloud version. So the way that would be attractive for you to ask just a few more questions when you're on a call or having a live visit is once they sign up, the way that we bill, there's a one-time setup, and then there's the monthly. We charge per month, per user, per module. So what could be lucrative for you is as you grow that user base, it can become quite lucrative. And, as I said, it's a 60-40 split. So keep that in mind. So if you add 50, 20, 30, 40 users in a year or more, then, that's monthly revenue that you ordinarily wouldn't get.
Yep.
Right?
Makes sense.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to see or discuss on the call? And if not, I'll just turn it over to Rinky.
No, I think that's good. You kind of teed it up well. Thank you.
All right, great. So Rinky, what we'll do is we'll kind of focus primarily on Finance Day, HR Day, and of course, we can drill down on anything else. But I think that's a good place to start.
Okay, sure, no problem. So, hi, as you can see over here, this is our Business Day ERP. So we have two ERPs. One is for a small and medium business. So we have a lighter version of the software also, for customers with less users and, small and medium businesses. Plus, we have also a larger database for bigger clients. So this is the Business Day module, and this is the Business Light module. So there are different modules, as you can see. We have the HRMS, we have CRM, we have inventory management, we have the procurement management, sales management, production. Then we have projects management, wherein, if a client has multiple projects, for example, a real estate company, So they can use this project masters with different projects. We have the finance management, and all these modules are integrated with each other. And then we have reports and dashboards over here. So we have a module wherein the client can get alerts on exceptions in case if there is any exception event that occurs. They will be notified with an alert via email or a pop-up on the system. Then yeah, so moving on to our HRMS module, we have the administration. So for example, during the implementation or the initial setup part, it will be a big upload of all the data, which involves all these setups. We have workforce management, plus we also have a geolocation application where for field employees, in case if they want to track for safety of the employee, or in case if they want to track the kilometers that they have traveled for any transportation, they could also track that from the system. So we can also get the live location of the employees in the system with the address. And then we have the self-services management. So the employees will have their own logins, and they could check their paycheck history. They can mark their timesheets. We have the approval process. They can put in leave requests and benefits and benefits enrollment, any travel requests, travel and expense management, forms and documentation like W4 or I-9. We have the training module, which helps with the training and the documentation part. Yep.
Quick question: does the I-9, can they do an I-9? Can they verify I-9 like status through and work status through your app? So you just click on the I-9 form, if they fill out, the employee fills that out, and then it goes to HR and then gets processed, or does it
Correct.
require them to go into an like actually? It does that. It does e-verify.
That, yes. So we can integrate that.
Thank you.
Then we have the performance management. So here, we can define the KPIs of the employees, and we can define the different performance period. We can define matrix on the basis of which the employees can be evaluated, and the HRs can see the details in a consolidated view. So whenever we create different evaluation templates depending upon their KPIs or their job titles, and can assign to their respective managers, they can assign them, they can evaluate themselves and can get it approved by the manager, or the HR can assign it to the managers. So we have different ways of evaluating employee here. We could also ask different questions, like we can prepare a set of questionnaires, like a text-based questionnaires for the training part. So we can create different questionnaires, different questions, and we can assign it to the employees with regards to the training. So we have the training calendar. We can define instructors, if it's an in-house instructor or someone which is a contractor. So we can define that over here. We can create different trainings. Training content can be uploaded in the form of a PPT, a PDF, a video, an image, a Word file, any docs. It can all be uploaded, and the employees will be able to see the trainings assigned to them in the training and documentation part. They can request for trainings also, and after they have completed their trainings, we can assign different tests to the employees, which will help us to evaluate how much they have understood from the training. Plus, we have a project HRMS, in case if the employees are working on projects, so we can define the different phases, stages of the project. We can do the resource allocation. We can do the project tracking, so what phases they have completed and how much time is remaining. Plus, we have the attendance module, wherein, as I informed, okay, so the attendance can be marked through a timesheet management, or we can integrate biometrics to here, or the employees will have their own logins and they can just go to the attendance. So we have applications. We have attendance applications, so they just have to log into the application, mark their attendance, and so that can be done through an application or through the web application like this. So the employees.
So is there
yeah.
Is there a mobile app, like a phone app that employees can use for that to
Yes.
log their time? Okay.
Yes, that's right. So as you can see, the employee can click on Workday login, and once it's saved successfully, so they can start their lunch. So all this can also be provided to them on the application. So this is the web login in case if they are not in, they don't have their phones and they want to log in to the system.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to just jump in real quick. Sorry, Rinky. So Brian. So the HRMS portal. Keep in mind what I want to make abundantly clear. If they have just one or two specific interests, they don't want to. They might have other things in their HR system that they like. For example, they might only want performance management. We've seen performance management, by the way, is really hard. Really hot in HR right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they might have a finance and accounting system that they like, and that's fine, but they might only be interested in one or two things, maybe performance management or ATS or time and attendance. They can pick and choose each of those. They don't have to buy the entire HRMS module. So keep that in mind. What she's going through now is the employee service portion, and that's for people that might work off-site, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where they might work on certain contracts, and so they might be off-site, and there's a GBS tracker and mobile app to answer your question. Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear that they can pick and choose each of these features.
Perfect.
Sorry, go ahead, Ringy.
No problem. So as you can see, this is an example of a dashboard. So this dashboard is provided on all the modules, wherein they can check with a quick glance with help of different charts, pie charts, column chart, bar chart, line chart, area chart. So different types of charts can be seen. So I can see the employee count by location, by joining date, by gender, by department. So different things can be done over here. So this is one example. Apart from this, we have the payroll software wherein we can define the different types of payroll depending upon their designations and their payroll slabs, and we can define everything can be defined in the administration part. So as you can see, we have the performance setup, we have the payroll setup, so we can define the components, the slabs, the pay policies, tax setup, everything can be defined, and we can process the payroll from here. This is the paycheck history, plus different forms can also be seen. So we have a report. So basically we have standard reports in all modules, as you can see like this, but we also have a query designer engine, which automatically creates query in case if I need a particular report, which I need it for some other purposes, and I need to send it to someone with some extra information. So what I could do is I could go to the query designer engine, and I can just click on the modules and the tables. I can just drag and drop, and it will automatically create the query and execute the report for me. I can show you a quick example of that. So as you can see, this is the report. So these are the reports that has already been generated. I can go ahead and click on that. As you can see, these are the different modules. So this is our HRMS, this is the inventory management, this is OM is the sales order management. I could just go to the HRMS and I can just search the tables in case if I need the employee master. I can just click on the employee master like this. I can click on the plus sign, or I can just do a drag and drop like this, and it automatically creates the query over here with the employee code, the email ID, and I can go ahead and execute the query. So once I execute the query, it will tell me the report, and I can save the report like this, for example.
Gotcha.
Okay. Do you have any questions in the HR module?
No.
Great.
No.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
We have the finance module over here. So these are our business partners. So business partners are nothing but our customers, our vendors, our employees. We have the payroll module integrated with the finance module. We have the fixed assets management here. These are the payables and the receivables, like the accounts receivable, the accounts payable, accounts receivable invoice, we have the receipt payment, we have reconciliation. These include all transactions, journal entries. So all the transactions that has taken place, the journal entries can be set to create automatically or manually, depending upon how you would like the system to be automated. So this is our journal entry sections. We have the banking. We can also upload bank statements, and we can map the transactions of the bank statements with our journal entries. We have different financial statements. We can we can check the financial statements, plus we can drill down on our profit and loss statements, on our different reports, like I'll show you, general ledger or balance sheet. Yep, balance sheet, trial balance can also be checked and drilled down. Just give me 1 minute. Is there anything in particular you would like to?
Brian, as she's going through this, kind of keep in mind that the way that we envision the conversations that you might have with your clients should, I guess, depend on who you're actually talking to. For example, if you're in finance and talking to folks that are on the just payroll side of the house, then we can drill down in that regard. And if they might have issues with accounts payable or receivable transactions that she's running through. But if you talk to someone that's higher up the food chain, like the CFO or VP of finance and accounting, they might have more of a 30,000 foot view that they might want. They might be interested in the reporting aspect. They might be interested in the cost analysis, fixed assets, the overall financial approach to the company. So just want to I guess it depends on who you're talking to.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is the example, just an example. So this is, I can check the balance sheet like this. I can check the profit and loss, and you can see the hyperlink. So I can click on it, and I can go ahead and drill down on that particular transaction and see the journal entry of that transaction. For example, I could just get into this, and I can see the journal entry of that transaction. So I can just drill down over here. Okay, so if there is any journal entry, it will show up. So is there anything in particular you would like me to highlight? Apart from this, we have the chart of accounts. So we have all the setups again for the finance. We have the chart of accounts. We can define the exchange rates also over here under the finance module.
Yeah, typically when I'm if I have employees that are abroad, they're going to be on U.S. contracts. And so they're going to be paid in U.S. dollars, even though when they're abroad, typically where they're going to be is on some U.S. military installation. So they're going to be paid in U.S. dollars. So exchange rates and running payroll in foreign countries is not typically something that's needed. We're not paying like third country nationals or anything like that.
Okay, no problem. Just highlighting what
No, that's fine. I'm just giving you some context. That's all.
Okay.
So Brian, I just had a quick question. So in terms of your clients, who do you sell into? Is it directors or is it VPs and up, or?
It just depends on the organizational size, right? So sometimes they're directors, sometimes they're VPs. Yeah, I mean, it just
okay.
Sometimes they're CEOs. I mean, I do have some pretty small clients as well that this is a little more robust than what they would need now. But I mean, I have I'm trying to think. Yeah, I would say it's directors and VPs. It really just depends on the organization and how they've structured it.
Okay, so now we do support the smaller clients, 50 employees or less, or 20 employees or less. They would be a better fit for Business Light, which she's showing you now is Business Day, which is the overall solution. But for the really small clients, they just might need one or two things, and that's fine. So what I was envisioning is when you have a conversation with an HR folk, they might have interest only in performance management. That's it, nothing else. And that's where you can share with them With this solution, you can pick and choose the modules that you want. So you don't have to buy, a time and attendance or ATS or benefits management. You can just specifically get performance management and see what their level of interest is, and then we can jump on a demo. So
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I think that's the right way to think about it. I mean, a lot of times I'll talk to I'll have a 20 or 25 person company where the owner is still very, very involved, and I'll ask them questions, from my perspective, like, who's your payroll company? Just, I don't sell payroll, but it's important for me to know that. And they'll say, well, we're using QuickBooks, right?
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, in your world, that would be like, you probably would love to hear that, right? Because you probably have a lot of functionality, things that you can do, and you can help them graduate out of that kind of small mindset into the micro mindset into a small business mindset.
Right.
And that happens a lot, right? Those are the kind of partners that I want to understand. Like, okay, who's your payroll partner? If I can't understand who their retirement partner is, these types of people who are kind of their influencers, and then be able to, what I would lean on you on, and this is good, this demo is helpful, but then kind of like what I try to do when I'm having conversations with prospects initially, and then down the road when I'm talking with clients, is just, I like to be able to hear things that maybe they're saying that they're not actually saying, right? Like they say they're having a problem here, and then I can be a connector and bring the right party or parties in for them to have a conversation. So sometimes they say something about benefits and it's very obvious because that's what I deal in, is employee benefits. But sometimes they'll say they're having a problem with, whatever it is, some of their commercial insurance. So I have a partner for that. Or they'll say they're having a real pain in the butt with their payroll, or they just did a conversion or whatever. And then that's when I have partners that I can bring in and kind of shorten their cycles, meaning in finding the right partner to fit those solutions. So that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does. Perfect sense. So, what I share with folks like yourself is we still have clients that use QuickBooks. I guess where we can really shine is for folks that are thinking that they've outgrown QuickBooks, as they grow. But I tell folks, by all means, if you love QuickBooks, by all means, keep it. We don't discourage anyone from keeping solutions that they love, because number one, you're not going to convince them anyway. But what we focus on is we ask other questions. What are the problematic areas? And they'll tell you. They might use QuickBooks for finance and accounting, but they might not have anything in place for performance management or payroll. Especially if they have folks that work off site, they might just be, emailing or texting whenever they get on site, or as far as, time and attendance and all that. We've talked to people that were using spreadsheets for performance management. So, that's where you can come in and say, well, the strength of these guys is, we can help automate that whole process. But if you love QuickBooks, or we have people that use Sage or Viewpoint, if they love it, that's great. Let's target the areas that are the biggest concerns, and that's where you'll be amazed at the conversations.
With these pieces, right, like this a la carte kind of model, can you hook into those other systems?
Yes, yeah, we can integrate with almost any solution through our standard API. Gotcha. So yes, we integrate well with QuickBooks, by the way. So yeah, that's not that's not a big deal. If they use something that's old and archaic, but if it's like something that's name brand, yes, we can integrate with it. I don't know how difficult it would be if they have a homegrown solution that they've built internally, but you typically don't run across that with the small folks. They use something off the shelf.
Yep. Okay, good.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Ricky.
No problem. So as Stacy was discussing, this is our Business Light module. So it's for small and medium businesses, and we can go ahead and search anything we want. So we have the quick search from here. So in case if I want the employee master, I can just type in and I can just go to the employee master and I can search for it. So again, this has all the modules over here, the HRMS, the CRM, all the modules that's in the Business Day software. But every client doesn't need everything. So we have just picked and the relevant modules that a small and medium business would need. A client with very low users, like maybe 15, 20 employees or 2-3 users. So they can go for this Business Light module. So apart from this, is there any other module would you like me to cover? Like, we have different modules. We have the purchase, inventory. Inventory can deal with services, assets. We can check the stock on hand. So, inventory.
Yeah, I don't deal with too many manufacturing companies,
Okay.
so I don't think that would be of any significant value to me today.
Okay.
No, I think this has been a good high-level overview, which is probably as detailed as it should be. I think from this, I have a sensing of kind of the system, and then as I run into questions, I would think that I could have Stacy sounds like he's probably an email away, and since he's in Reston and I'm in Northern Virginia, just the same. It's probably a quick phone call as well if I have a question and say, here, this is what I'm hearing from this client or this prospect. Is this sound like something that you guys would be interested in? And then we can kind of connect from there. Does that sound right, Stacy?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. What I guess we can leave you with is with our solution, you would just ask a few more questions. That's it. In terms of your standard things that you like to cover, that you guys support. But just ask a few more questions. If you're talking to an HR person, what are some of the other problematic areas? And they'll tell you. It's amazing what they'll tell you. Especially, we like to talk to folks like yourself that already have an established relationship with these folks.
Of course,
because they'll open up a lot more than they would to me on a cold call, for example.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's amazing the problematic areas, especially the smaller clients. Under 100 employees or 50 employees or 20 employees. What I was amazed with is how much they have not automated. See, the strength of our solution is automation and artificial intelligence. We didn't even touch on the AI piece of our solution. So folks that are really interested in the AI piece of the larger companies, 100 plus employees or 80 plus employees. But the smaller folks, they just want one or two things. That's it. They don't want anything else. So the way that I would envision, you have a conversation with them, just ask a few more questions, and keep in mind if it fits into one of the modules that you just saw. Yes, we would probably be interested in having a conversation with them. No client is too small for us. I mean, we have clients that are 10 employees.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Keep that in mind. But they use Business Light, for example.
Sure, of course.
So definitely keep that in mind. As I said, the way that it works is there's a one-time setup fee, and then there's a monthly. And of course, they can have as many users as they like. That's per month, per user, per module. And, as you add more users, it can become quite lucrative. So definitely keep us in mind. What I'll do is I'll send you some information on HR Day and our finance piece. So you'll have that. And, if you have any questions, feel free to ping me, and I'll be more than happy to jump on a call if you have anyone that's interested in anything that you see today.
Perfect. I really appreciate your time, Stacy, and Rinky. Thank you as well for the demo. And I'll look for that email. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. Thank you. Enjoy your day.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye now.